of the year's most highly anticipated launches, the Hyundai Alcazar, and here it is. Of course, captain chairs, a floor-mounted center console, and a tray to place my laptop. Now these are great additions over an already stellar product, the Hyundai Creta, which was in fact our car of the year for 2020. Driver, could you please pull over? But that's not all, because Hyundai says that the Alcazar is your gateway to a grand life. And I'm here to find out if this SUV can deliver on that promise. Now surely it looks a lot more elite with this new grille studded in dark chrome, and it looks a lot more superior than the Creta. Very interesting design elements here, like the grille that merges into the tri-element headlamps and this little lighting element that marries them together very well. Now unlike the Creta, the Alcazar uses LED fog lamps, and overall I would say that the front end is very finely done. Now moving to the side, the first thing that you'll notice are newer alloy wheels. Now these are 18 inches, a size up than the Cretas, but that is on the signature trim. The Prestige, which is the entry-level trim to the Alcazar, comes with 17-inch draped in JK tire. Now the wheelbase is now longer. It's 150 mm more than the Cretas, and of course it opens up a lot of space on the inside, but I'm not sure if the overall design looks very proportionate. Or maybe it is because we are used to seeing the Creta and are now accustomed to its design. You also get the addition of puddle lamps with brand projection and these first-in-segment side steps for that added SUV stance. Now as you move towards the back, you accept this as an evolution over the Creta. Of course, you get larger doors for easy ingress and egress. The roof, that is higher. This is added quarter glass behind the C-pillar, and an all-new tail section that's headlined by new tail lamps with this honeycomb effect within them. Now very interestingly, on all Alcazars, you'll spot those twin exhaust tips. Very sporty. Grand? I certainly think so. In fact, it feels like it isn't a forced extension, and I'll go to the extent of saying that the Alcazar looks as good as a Tata Safari out on the road. I'm over you, we lost our minds. Now opinions on the way that the Alcazar looks on the outside could be subjective, but the way that the interior receives this new treatment will be seen eye to eye. This dual tone dashboard colors, it adds that extra bit of grand to an already liked dashboard layout. There's a good mix of physical buttons and screen inputs, and the biggest change here is of course that 10.25-inch virtual instrument cluster. Now I like it because yes, it's customizable and it has a lot of information on offer, but it also doubles up as a blind spot monitor, and that in my opinion is one of the best additions to the Alcazar. You also get a very nice and chunky steering wheel, and even on the diesel there are paddle shifters, which is again a segment first feature. New surfaces here like the perforated material on the steering wheel and this yacht style gear shift selector, and it all looks very premium. The scratchy plastic on the Creta is now replaced by this piano black finish. Yes, it does pick up those fingerprints, but it looks very grand. Features that make the Creta a charmer continue to impress in the Alcazar as well. So you're still treated with front ventilated seats, an electric driver's seat, Hyundai's BlueLink Smart Suite, that fluidic 10.25-inch infotainment system, and those crisp sounding Bose surround system. It's packed to the gills. Into the second row of the Alcazar, and I keep coming back here, don't I? It's because this row, this seat is really comfortable, and I would prefer this over the driver's seat. I know I should be booked for that, but what to do? I'm pampered here with a lot of space features, starting with the seat itself that is really comfortable. I can relax myself here. There's this soft pillow to rest my head, and then there's this integrated central console with a little storage, wireless charging, cup holders, AC vents, some more storage here. So all of it is very good. You do have a retractable tray that can be used to put your food, an iPad, a laptop, a nifty little pocket to place your phone, a magazine holder. It's just feature loaded. It's a great family vehicle, and it also doubles up as a great chauffeur-driven car. Now it's time to review the added row of seats, and I know a lot of you really want to know if those are usable. Now let me remind you that I am over 6 foot tall and I don't like being wedged into the last row of the vehicle, but just for those extra share of likes, and please make sure that you do like the video, I'm going to step in. Now this side step does help me get into the vehicle a little bit more gracefully, but now that I have fit myself in the third row of the Alcazar, let me tell you, this is not the most comfortable place in this SUV. As you can see, the space on offer is quite limited. Yes, this backrest is adjustable, so I can make myself slightly more comfortable, but the knees are touching the back of the seat in front. In fact, this seat is slightly upright to accommodate my long legs. I do appreciate the space under the seat to slide in my feet. There are plenty of features here for the third row passengers as well, like a blow speed control, AC vents on both sides, USB charging, cup holders, and then the panoramic sunroof that allows a lot of light to pass in. What also makes the cabin a little more airy are these quarter panels. And overall, I would say that the seats are adapted to kids more than adults, because although the features are adequate, the space just isn't. Boot space is a healthy 180 liters with the third row up, and with a 50-50 split for the third bench, you can make room for the widest or largest boxes in the rather versatile and expansive loading area. A perfect active lifestyle vehicle then, isn't it? Alright, now it's time to haul the family for a weekend trip. Let's see what the driver's seat has to offer. Alright, straight up, let's talk about the powertrains. Now you have two engines to choose from. You get a 2-liter petrol engine, naturally aspirated, that's borrowed from the Elantra. And then you have this, the 1.5-liter diesel engine, that's borrowed from the Creta. Now both these engines come with a 6-speed manual and a 6-speed automatic transmission as well, and what we're driving today is this 6-speed automatic. Now it is a torque converter, but the good thing is you have paddle shifters, which lets you take control when you really feel like it. But having said that, this engine isn't the most energetic or enthusiastic. It's a very calm and relaxed engine. It does not like to be revved to the red line, and well, from where I see it, the type of consumers that will be using this engine, this vehicle, should be fine with it. Now the engine might be slightly underpowered and suited for a more relaxed drive, but the benefit that you have here is good fuel efficiency. Now this diesel has returned 13.9 kilometers to the liter, and that is commendable. For a car of this size, for a 7-seater, for a 6-seater, it is pretty good. Which basically means that the engines on offer are well suited for the kind of consumers and for the duties that are expected from the Alcazar. What drivers would really appreciate though is this transmission. Now it shuffles between the gears very smoothly, and it keeps working in the background to give you that relaxed, that leisurely driving experience. We also had a chance to sample Hyundai's 2-liter petrol engine, and it felt slightly more apt for this large SUV. The benefits of a naturally aspirated engine are plenty, the most prominent being refinement and smoothness. The power delivery remained linear and adequate. However, a little more grunt would have left enthusiasts happy. Yet, the highway manners and cruising ability continued to impress us throughout the day's use. Now what Hyundai is also offering with the Alcazar are driving modes, which can be toggled between with this little selector here, and it changes all the animation on that virtual screen. It's quite nice to look at it. And you have Eco, Comfort and Sports. What it does is basically hold the revs slightly longer so that you can extract more power from the engine. Now what you also get on offer are traction modes, there's auto hill hold assist, there's also this 360 camera that's been added on the Alcazar, which means that living with it in the city is actually quite easy. Now all of those things combined does make driving the Alcazar within the city quite a breeze. And then there is the refinement, the NVH levels. It's all very nice. The ride is very supple, both for the front and the back seat. The suspension is slightly tweaked to take on the added weight. The added wheelbase does make it a lot more stable out on the highway, and it is a very settled car. And that is a surprise, because when was the last time that we praised an SUV's ride quality? Even on broken roads like these that you would find in Mumbai, the suspension does a brilliant job in ironing them all out. The dynamics are just as you would expect from an SUV of this size. Nothing more and nothing less. Now, I know some of you might argue that the Hyundai Alcazar doesn't go head-to-head with the likes of the Tata Safari and the MG Hector Plus. And going by the rule of the textbooks, it probably doesn't. But for the concerned buyer, that does not hold any water. What they'd be rather looking for is a plush SUV that's big on styling, features, comfort, space, and efficiency. Why? Because they want their money's worth. Because an SUV worth the 20 lakh mark should look and feel like one. Because they desire grand things in life, and who doesn't? And that is where the Alcazar shines. It's grand the way consumer wants it. Be it a large family or a chauffeur-driven corporate executive, it's got all the traits in a vehicle that they'll be looking for, and that makes it a very compelling proposition. Which only means one thing: Hyundai is entering this segment for the very first time, and they've already got a winner at their hands. Now, this seems like a tradition for the Koreans, doesn't it? Let me know, what do you think of the Alcazar, whether it ticks all the boxes in a vehicle that you would be looking for next.
We lost our mind.